The Royal Rumble didn't just put WrestleMania in motion. It showed us who can be trusted and who can't be trusted to stand on the grandest stage of them all. Mass Gang, let's get it. All right, y'all, let's get it. There ain't nowhere else to start other than the Royal Rumble, man. There's nowhere else to start. So I think the best thing to kick it off with is the men's Royal Rumble, where there was just a ton of shit happening left and right. A ton of shit happening. We had a mystery attacker attack Bron Breakker. We had Obafemi stacking bodies. We had Drew McIntyre not minding his damn business again. But you know what we got to talk about, man? We got to talk about Roman winning. Now, I can see both schools of thought. There's people who's ecstatic that Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. And there's people that's pissed. Same old, same old. WWE putting Roman at the top. You know what? Roman at this point, he's a spectacle. So when he shows up, you expect victory. But I do want to point out that recently, Roman has been taking some L's, going back, a little before. He don't even got the belt right now. So, I mean, what we talking about here? Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble creates so many avenues of where they can go to the story if they handle it right. If they handle it right. We can go Roman getting into it with Jey Uso, so we could go with a jealousy angle heading into WrestleMania. We can go with a Roman Reigns still hates Cody angle that'll somehow interweave Seth Rollins, even though we just seen that last year. So let's not go there. We could go Roman Reigns trying to get his lick back on Cody. There's a bunch of different ways we can go with this. And we also got to tie in the shit that Roman said on the Pat McAfee show a few days ago about how he got to keep coming back because these kids ain't doing their job. Now, it's funny he says that because I remember John Cena saying the same thing to him a few years back. He said that he got to keep coming back because Roman Reigns wasn't doing his damn job. And now the roles are reversed, and now you got Roman saying this about this current generation. So honestly, overall, I have no issue with Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. But let's talk about that mystery attacker. Let's talk about him. I'm sure if you have or if you haven't seen the short that I put up on Crimson Mask Pro Wrestling, our shorts YouTube channel, where I told you exactly who I think attacked Bron Breakker. Was it Seth Rollins? No. Seth Rollins kept his word this time. Seth Rollins was not in Saudi Arabia. He was not at the Royal Rumble. Was it Finn Balor? Finn Balor has a good ass reason for why he would attack Bron Breakker. If you think about it, when Adam Pearce went up to that ring and told Braun, Bronson, Austin, and Logan that they were all in the Royal Rumble, and then immediately told Finn that Finn's not in it because there ain't no room for him, that's a legitimate reason for why Finn Balor would take that out on Bron Breakker. But it's not him. Then we got Austin Theory. I mean, the guy was dressed like Austin Theory was dressing. He was wearing, his black gear, his black forces. He went out there, he did his thing, but this time it wasn't him. This time it was somebody else. Who was it? It was Logan Paul. It was Logan Paul, y'all. Come on, let me break this down to y'all. Let me break it down to you. Logan Paul, a couple months ago, confronted CM Punk, right? He tried to leave the ring and he got pressed by Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. They pressed him. They pushed him down. He bumped his head. They embarrassed him in front of the entire arena. They had him looking like a straight clown. He was like, oh man, forget this. I'm not going to help CM Punk. And then he said, he did this little neck twist. If you watch the video closely at the Royal Rumble, that person that attacked Bron Breakker, he did that same neck twist. That's why people was out there talking about, oh, it's John Moxley, it's Dean Ambrose. He's returning. Look, that dude is under his contract to 2027. And even when his contract is up, there's been no indication whatsoever that he's going to leave AEW and go to WWE. So let's just knock off all the fantasy booking. I'm gonna talk about something else about that later. But it's Logan Paul. He got embarrassed by them. Who do you guys think was the one who stood up in front of the whole room and said, I think Bron Breakker should win the Royal Rumble? He was throwing the sin off. He was throwing the sin off. That's what he was doing. So then, of course, the people for our sharp-eyed sleuths out there, they seen that the guy under the mask had the same kind of facial hair as Logan Paul. So I mean, everything's just adding up. Everything's just adding up. It was Logan Paul. I think the key question that we all have to ask is Logan Paul working alone? Is this something Logan Paul is doing, a long play that he put into motion because these dudes embarrassed him? Is he working with Seth Rollins, or is Logan working with Austin Theory together to take down the Vision from the inside? Or did Logan Paul do that just to shine a light on Austin Theory? Because I tell you now, come Monday night, it's going to be really curious to see if the Vision is blaming Austin Theory or suspicious of Austin Theory. They were suspicious of him to begin with. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out if that's what actually happened. Another thing that happened at the Royal Rumble is Drew McIntyre not minding his goddamn business again. Drew, why you got to be so petty? You already have the title, but even though you have it, you're still talking shit about Cody every time you pick up a microphone. You're still putting your picture on Cody Rhodes' tour bus, trying to bully him. You're still interfering in matches you're not even involved in, involving Cody Rhodes. You're attacking him every chance you get. What's the end game here? What are we doing here? Now you done fucked around and cost WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes' his WrestleMania opportunity. And in turn, you might even set us fans up for a Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre WrestleMania match that I'm pretty damn sure a lot of us do not want to see. I want to see you in WrestleMania. I want to see Cody at WrestleMania, but I do not want to see you guys against each other at WrestleMania. No thanks. No thanks. Don't want to see it. So if we sit here and we keep a score, Cody got to get his lick back now. So let's just hope that Cody gets his lick back at a point before WrestleMania, close that out so we can get Cody versus Randy at WrestleMania. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what a lot of fans want. I don't care who's a heel. I prefer it to be Randy, but because he's being too nice. But I need to see Cody and Randy. I need somebody being a heel out of that. Drew and Cody, no, Drew. They need to end that shit. Drew does not need to fight Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Absolutely not. LA Knight returned. LA Knight, yeah, he returned. And it felt flat as a fucking pancake. I'm not even going to sit here and hold you. I ain't going to even lie, man. It felt fat as a pancake, man. Like, yeah, the crowd popped when he came out because, they're programmed to do that. But first of all, LA Knight walked out there and the man had lose face. I hate to say it. Like, LA Knight was completely devoid of the LA Knight confidence that we seen him. He came out, he had a serious look. He wasn't cocky. He wasn't pumped up. He kind of came out there looking sad. He came out there looking sad. And honestly, I can understand why. I mean, people seeing what happened on Unreal at this point. They seen you get completely undressed backstage at Gorilla by Triple H, and they were just shitting all over you. And if we've seen it, he's seen it. He just had lose face, man. The dude did not look happy. It did not look like the same LA Knight to me. The confidence that we all known have come to know him for, he didn't have it. He didn't have it. He looked like a dude going out there just going through the motions. Like, I can't even remember any big moments he had. He did have some very impressive eliminations early on, but there was no LA Knight swagger out there, man. It was sad, bro. I don't know if WWE is cooling off on him. I don't know if he's cooling off on himself, but I mean, he needs a character change or some shit because that shit is not working out. Earlier in the night, and I can't say this enough, Earlier in the night, Sami Zayn lost to Drew McIntyre. Can we please just put this Sami Zayn shit to rest? Love Sami Zayn, love him. But at this point, the whole I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna defy the odds, I'm gonna all that shit just to lose, man. Like, that's just the Sami Zayn way. Sami in the US title picture, fine. Sami in the Intercontinental picture, fine. Those things are fine. I don't want to see Sami Zayn anywhere near the WWE title picture or the World Heavyweight title picture. That ship has fucking sailed. Don't want to see it anymore. I'm good. I'm good, man. Because the dude sit there, he wastes all our time, making all these bold proclamations about how he's going to win the title. And then every single time he goes out there and he fucking loses to whoever he's facing. He can't, like, maybe at some point they're going to revisit it and do the whole Sammy can't win the big one and actually have him win it. But I need a break from it, man. I need a break from it. Every time somebody else wins the championship for the first time, here comes Sammy talking about, I never won it before, but I'm going to do it. It's my time. And man, Sammy, man. Sammy had me so good, bro. Sammy had me good. He was sitting there, man. He had the shit on his head. He was sitting there, kneel down. Drew was in his face, and Sammy just sitting there smiling. I said, oh shit. Me and PD Stunt said, I said, oh shit, Sammy looked like he coming to win this shit today, man. You got me, Sammy. You got me. I actually thought that you was finna come out there and win that damn match, man. And God, I'll be damned if you didn't take 2 claymores to the skull and get hit with the 1, 2, 3. Mm-mm. That's a damn shame, man. Sammy really can't win the big one, bro. He really is the modern day Mick Foley. But I don't even think that's fair at this point because at least Mick Foley won the big one before. At least Mick Foley put some butts in the seats. Like Sami Zayn, he just do this and then that's it. Trick Williams is right. The dude can't win the big one, and I don't know, man. He needs to stay out of that. He needs to stay out of the main event scene for a while. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about AJ Styles losing to Gunther. I got a few thoughts on that. The first thing I'm going to say is that it was an excellent match. That Sami Zayn Drew McIntyre match was excellent too. But the Gunther match with AJ Styles was excellent. It was completely excellent. There were several points in the match where I thought Gunther was just going to put AJ away immediately. There was points in the match where I thought AJ was going to pull it off. So it was legitimately a back and forth, very, very, very physical match. Very physical match. But at the end of the day, Gunther's trademark physicality was just too much for AJ Styles. And he put him to sleep. AJ Styles didn't even know what was going on when he woke up. He was asking the referee, like, did I just lose? Like, yeah, AJ, you lost. Gunther got out the ring so AJ could have his moment. AJ looked like he was going to leave the gloves in the ring for a second, and he put the gloves back on and stormed off. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, one thing it doesn't mean is that he's going to AEW. He's not going to AEW. Just like Moxley is not the masked man, AJ Styles isn't going to AEW. He's not going. He's retiring. And speaking of John Moxley, you need to understand how rare it is for a guy to go to WWE, tell them like, hey man, I'm retiring, get his retirement, and then go to AEW. I think John Moxley is the only one to do that. John Moxley, he sold the false bill of goods so he could go to AEW. And I understood him doing that at the time because at the time, Vince was in charge and he wasn't letting him out of his contract. So John had to do what the hell he had to do to get where he wanted to go. But that's not what's happening here with AJ Styles. AJ Styles is retiring from WWE. And yeah, Triple H in the post Royal Rumble conference said that he gave every indication that he's not going to return to wrestling. But if that was the case, he really would have left his gloves in the ring. He would have left his gloves, he would have left his boots. He would have did that. He didn't do any of those things. And I think the symbology behind him taking the gloves off and putting them back on is basically saying, hey, I got more unfinished business left to do. And he's going to take his ass to TNA. They already highlight, I'm going to tell you the 2 points where they highlighted him going to TNA. Okay. Number one, a few weeks ago during the debut episode of TNA Impact, there was a moment backstage between AJ Styles and Frankie Kazarian when Kazarian was still the champion. And he had the belt draped over his shoulder, and AJ Styles temporarily became fixated on that TNA title. That wasn't done by mistake. That was done on purpose. That was foreshadowing. You guys know what foreshadowing means? That was foreshadowing. He was foreshadowing his future opportunity to challenge for that title. Then this past episode on Monday Night Raw, in the segment between CM Punk and AJ Styles, they were going back and forth, and CM Punk kind of, did one of those numbers. He was like, yeah, this is the only time we're going to get a chance to fight each other. The last time to fight each other in the WWE ring. That's pretty much what he did. He gave the wink wink because he's going to TNA, bro. AJ Styles is going to TNA. This AJ is all elite. That shit is like, no. That shit is no. The only way he's going to AEW is if he does this TNA run, comes to the end of his contract, gets completely done, because they said his contract is up in February or whatever. I don't know if he's going, he might have already signed a short-term contract to finish out this year. The only way he's going to AEW is if he gets to the end of 2026 and then says, you know what? Let me do a little run in AEW, then I'll be completely done. It's coming to an end either way, but if you guys are sitting, hoping, praying that he's going to be all elite next month or whenever, it's not going to happen. You're going to be waiting a long time. Okay, now I got to get into this. I got to get into this one. For, I don't know, ever since Triple H has become involved in politics, there's been this overwhelming sense that Triple H is racist. That's what people are saying. I'm saying it for people who Triple H, if you look through the history of WWE, I can understand why people come to the conclusion that Triple H is racist. We got the DX angle he did when they were making fun of, the Nation of Domination. We got the Booker T angle. Those are the times or the moments that people go back to when they think about Triple H being racist. Then you add in his political affiliations, and then you add in, hey, this guy right here, he's black, but he's not gonna win. I seen the guy on X, and I apologize because I do not remember the name of the guy who said this on X. He said that the Royal Rumble was like Sinners, a bunch of nominations, but nobody won. Like, and I get why you said that, because Royal Rumble had so much representation in it. You had Obafemi stacking bodies. You had Javon Evans lasting damn near an hour in a match. You had Lash Legend lasting damn near the whole match, eliminating future Hall of Famers, former champions, all of it. And you had Trick Williams, who just had one of the best months that any black man could have, where he debuted on SmackDown, was in multiple main events, was in the main event of a special, receiving a number one contenders match, and he was in the Royal Rumble. That, for a rookie going to the main roster, and especially as a black dude, there you have it. You got Carmelo Hayes winning the U.S. title. I'm gonna need y'all to stop saying Triple H is racist. Just because, okay, and just as a rule for wrestling in general, just because your favorite person or favorite wrestler isn't winning a championship or doing what you think the company should have them doing, is not an indictment on the booker. It's not an indictment on the booker. Triple H, where's Santos Escobar? I know he's like messing around in Triple A somewhere. Where's Santos Escobar? Like, if I was the biggest Santos Escobar fan in the world, I should be like, man, Santos should have the U.S. title right now. Where is it? He isn't even on TV, yada, 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 yada. But just because he's not doing that doesn't mean that, he must be racist. Like, That shit is just so. This shit is so low hanging fruit. It's such low hanging fruit, man. There are several black wrestlers being booked extremely well, better than any. Look, I've been watching this shit a long time, dude. I've been watching this shit a long time, easily damn near 30 years because I've been watching it since I was a little kid. I've seen it from the start of the Attitude Era to now. And I'm telling you, if you want to really get into black wrestlers not being treated fairly, we can get into it. We can get into how a black wrestler mainly, and I'm not talking about The Rock because The Rock certainly doesn't walk around and say, I'm black, I'm black. That's not what The Rock does. What I'm talking about is dudes like D'Lo Brown only being able to win the European title. And European title, that's the jobber title. Like I hate to say it, that's the jobber title. Then you got stuff like Mark Henry been called a silverback, which he shut that shit down himself. He shut that shit down himself, but it should have never been nothing like that for him to shut down. Like, if you really want to get into like some racism and wrestling type shit, we can get into that. But that conversation is definitely not going to be centered around Triple H's booking decisions because I think he's booking everybody fairly, to be honest. Because I can make the argument that there's white wrestlers, there's Latino wrestlers, there's Asian wrestlers, there's Arab wrestlers, there's Indian wrestlers, there's all wrestlers from every nationality and every ethnicity that you could say Triple H ain't booking them right. That's just the reality of it. That's the reality of it. Triple H is not sitting at some desk somewhere saying, okay, let's see what black wrestler I can screw today. No. And if you look at NXT and you see his best friend down there, he's booking black people like a pot of gold. So I don't want to hear no more shit about Triple H being racist, man. To me, that shit is low hanging fruit, and that's a fucking Buffalo Wild Wing take. And if you got those, you need to go sit at Buffalo Wild Wings with your homeboy and talk at the table about how Triple H is racist because that shit gets no play over here. Perfect segue into the next topic. Where's Bianca Belair? Where's Bianca Belair? Where is she? Now, the first thing I want to say, because people forget that these professional wrestlers are fucking humans first. First thing I want to say is I hope wherever she is, she's okay. I hope she's doing good. I understand she did have a finger injury. From my perspective, unless there's some nerve damage that is career threatening, not just an injury, career threatening, then she really shouldn't be out this long. If she's pregnant, I don't understand why they won't just come out and say that. But then again, you also have to respect that it could be a situation where a decision between her and Montez decided that they don't want to broadcast their pregnancy. Everybody don't have to make the same decision that Naomi and Jimmy Uso made. They could want that shit to be completely private. But that's if she's even pregnant. That's if she's even pregnant. Um, or there could be some other injury that we have no clue about. There could be a mental health issue that we have no clue about. We have no clue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep the shit completely wrestling, not knowing these things, and just completely put out the disclaimer that everything I'm about to say is non-injury, non-mental health related. It's weird that Bianca Belair wasn't in a Royal Rumble. It's weird. It's weird. And it would be less weird to me, her not being there, if it wasn't for also the fact that at the same exact time, Montez Ford of the Street Profits has not been on TV as well. Now, the excuse going around with Montez and the Street Profits is that they're keeping them off TV so they can stay fresh when creative, has time to push them. That shit doesn't make sense to me. It definitely doesn't make sense in the context of Bianca Belair, who's one of the biggest stars in the company, who you could find something to do with Bianca Belair. You could find something to do. There's all type of brand new women for Bianca Belair to face. You could have had Bianca Belair beefing with freaking Julia, beefing with Julia or some shit. Like, I don't know. There's tons of shit for Bianca Belair to do. So I know she can't be getting kept off TV to keep her fresh. So what I'll say is this. Here's what I'll say. I'll issue a little warning. If this has some shit to do with some political, and I'm not talking about actual like governmental politics, but some wrestling politics shit where it's like, hey, Montez should be doing this. So, if he ain't doing this, then I'm not doing that. Or, some shit like, oh, the contract is coming, but da 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 da. WWE better fucking tread lightly. Because I'm telling you right now, if you guys seen my short about Montez Ford leaving WWE for AEW, if it's a package deal with Montez and Bianca going to AEW, let me tell you something, man. That there's only so few moves that AEW can make that could somewhat, and I'm not talking about the financial gap, I'm talking about the public perception gap. There's only so many moves that AEW can make to somewhat close the gap on WWE. If they somehow acquire, and I know it's a long shot, if they somehow acquire Montez Ford and Bianca Belair over some disgruntled wrestler bullshit, then that is going to be one of the biggest fumbles that WWE has ever made. Because Montez Ford should be a superstar and not this corny term WWE likes to use when they say everybody's a superstar. You're a superstar. You're a superstar. You're a superstar. I'm talking about an actual fucking star. Montez Ford got that. Montez Ford could talk. Montez Ford can work. I'm telling you, Montez Ford got that. But he don't get TV time. And they don't think he's important enough to be on TV every week. They think they could afford to have him sitting in catering and trying to keep him fresh, whatever. Bianca Belair is already a star. She's already that. Bianca Belair is already in the commercials. She's already doing the interviews. She's already in the title picture the minute she comes back. That's Bianca Belair. And if you let that duo, that couple, go to AEW, you fucking fumbled, and you fumbled hard. You fumbled hard. If that happens, you fucked up big time if you let that happen. And that will close the gap because somebody somewhere will know. Bianca Belair, okay, Montez Ford, okay. Bianca Belair is the type of star, like, it would be like AEW getting a second Mercedes Moné. Now, I understand a lot of people like don't like Mercedes Moné. I understand that, but you get Bianca Belair and Mercedes Moné, your women's division is set for a while. Your women's division is set, combined with all the women that do good over there already. Your women's division is set. It also creates the public. It also creates the public perception that AEW is able to bring in wrestlers that you thought they could never bring in. Kind of like when they bought in Edge and like people like that. It's that caliber of wrestler you will be bringing in. So WWE better not do. WWE better figure they shit out, man. If this not like some health concern or some shit like this with Bianca, if it's something that got to do with how they're being booked or how they being paid, WWE better just fucking pay it. That's all I got to say about that. NXT quietly had one of his best regular episodes that I've seen in a long time. And I'm talking about it's been a long time since I actually watched an NXT episode from beginning to end. The show just flowed so well. The show flowed so well. I don't know if that has to do with the fact that Ava didn't renew her contract and she was going through the motions and somebody else is booking the show. Like, I mean, it kind of all adds up. The show flowed so well. Ava announced that she's leaving the company. Now, I know she's on screen GM, but I don't know. We look, sometimes shit, I drifted to kayfabe sometime, damn it. But I don't think she's actually making decisions. But the show flowed well. The show flowed really well. And from the ladder qualifying matches, from the backstage segments, from the matches themselves. Like, I really just loved everything about NXT last week. And we're gonna talk about NXT because honestly, I didn't see a real big point of talking about Raw or SmackDown this week with the Royal Rumble right now rearview mirror. But NXT could still be addressed. But yeah, they had a great episode. And one thing I do want to do is I do want to give flowers to two teams that honestly, I'll be completely honest. One of the teams is the reason why I have to take a break from NXT. I had to take a break. Dark State. I came to the realization after watching this episode of NXT that it's not the fact that I hate Dark State. It's the fact that they have one member of their group that just stands out like a thumb. I've never seen him wrestle. His promos sound very ass. Like that, I can only call it ass. His promos are ass. Like and that's I don't even know the guy's name. So I know Osiris, I know Sugar, I know Dion Lennox. I don't even know that fourth dude's name. I don't know him. So they need to kick his ass out the group. Other than that, Dark State got a couple points for me. Another group that got some points for me is OTM. I thought OTM was just this group of buff former football players, black guy, the half black guy, half Mexican guy, you know, walking around, doing like all this shit. I didn't see anything with them in the ring. They were kind of just sloppy to me. They left for a minute, and this looked like a completely different tag team. They are physical as fuck. They're physical as fuck. Now, based on what I've seen on NXT, now I'm saying if they win the tag team titles, I'm ready for that. Because now they look completely different. Like visually, they look the same, but the way they wrestle looks different. They just look physical as fuck. It's like for example, the APA, right? The one thing I liked about the APA was that when the APA wrestled, it was like somebody's gonna get their ass beat. APA might not win, but whoever they fighting gonna get their ass beat. It don't matter if they was fighting the Rock and Stone Cold. The Rock and Stone Cold for that match, yeah, they might come out the win, but they gonna get their ass beat in that match. That's how APA rolled. And the physicality from OTM reminded me of APA. Just very fucking physical. Not fake physicalness like the Authors of Pain, where they're doing physical shit because they're big but it don't look like it hurt. The shit OTM was doing looked like it hurt. Now, the one homie, because I don't know their names from apart from each other. The one homie with the braid, the wear like the trunks and the braids. Hey man, cut all that shit you be doing out, all that. Cut all that shit out, man. You was doing too much, bro. You was doing way too much. But outside of that, that shit was legit. That shit was legit, man. In a week of great wrestling, AEW wasn't left out in the cold. AEW had a great week full of big surprises. Let's get into it. Exactly how many motherfuckers is MJF expected to fight? Everybody want to fight MJF. Brody King want to fight MJF. Kenny Omega want to fight MJF. Swerve want to fight MJF. Andrade want to fight MJF. Hangman want to fight MJF. Everybody want to fight MJF. And the crazy thing is, we all know how this finna go. MJF still gonna come out on top. He's still gonna come out on top. Now, if he gets Kenny Omega, man, because it's about time. It's about time for Kenny Omega to get that belt back around his waist. That time is coming up. But up until that time, apparently, MJF is gonna have to run the gauntlet. He's gonna have to run the gauntlet. MJF, I know a lot of people's like, his shtick is stale, but that shit he said about Brody King being a liberal Nazi, that shit was fucking hilarious. That's one of those times where you remember that MJF always got something in the bag. That shit was funny. I think that shit even made Brody King laugh. But yeah, MJF's gonna have to fight all these dudes off. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it, man. Like, who do we really? Okay, let's go through each challenger one by one and give the chances that they actually are going to be able to beat MJF. Andrade, not going to happen. 0% chance. Not only is Andrade a heel, he just got back. He's not winning the title. He's not winning the title. Brody King, while I do think Brody King has the capabilities of becoming the AEW champion, it's just not going to be right now. I think Brody King probably needs a little more character development before him winning the title makes sense. He's a threat to the title for the future, but I don't think that future is right now. Maybe he takes it off of somebody else, but I don't think he's taking it off of MJF. Swerve, I don't know. I'm kind of confused about the situation. I don't know if Swerve losing to Andrade means that Swerve no longer gets a shot at MJF or not. I don't know what that means. But if Swerve does get a match with MJF, I think he has a better chance than Andrade and Brody King of winning the title from MJF. But I also don't think they're going to go that route right now. I think they're going to find some alternative route. They're going to find some other shit for Swerve to do, and they're going to let the other two guys that's going after MJF handle it. Hangman Page has the second best odds of beating MJF for that title, but I don't think he's beating MJF either. Like, I think a part of the MJF storyline has to be how he finally was able to get one good over Hangman Page, because Hangman Page thinks MJF is a bitch, and MJF needs to go out and prove that he's not a bitch. And that's a part of their inner workings of their relationship and their storyline, is that Hangman Page thinks MJF is a coward who always looks to get out of his matches and cheats to win and finds shortcuts. And MJF thinks Hangman Page is a hypocrite and he's just a dickhead and that he's inferior to him. So if MJF is going to be further elevated, you have to have MJF conquer and vanquish that foe and actually do it in a way where Hangman Page isn't going to be able to say that MJF is a bitch. There you have it. And by the way, lately MJF has been having more just direct wins, so I do want to throw that out there. And then we get to our last guy, the guy who has the best chance of beating MJF, and that's Kenny Omega. Because Kenny Omega becoming the champion again is fucking inevitable. It's inevitable. It's going to happen whether people like it or not. Kenny Omega is going to win that title again. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Don't know if it's going to be at Revolution, but he's getting that belt back. That's the bottom line. So guess who showed up at AEW this past week? Tommaso Ciampa, Psycho Killer, Blackheart, showed up, and he's going to challenge for the TNT title. Not only did he do that, he then went to Collision and won the fucking title. Man, I can't think of somebody more deserving of going to do that than Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know what happened. I'll give you my personal opinion on it. So you could probably tell that I'm the type of person that I don't think Triple H should be blamed for everything. It's a lot of shit that got to do with TKO and other shit like that. I do think Triple H probably has the biggest voice in the room. I just don't think he has the only voice in the room. Like, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa was one of Triple H's favorites in NXT, right? So then you get him, he's one of the favorites in NXT. So then he gets called up to the main roster, and it looks like he's going to get pushed. And then next thing you know, he's just in limbo the whole time, him and Johnny Gargano. But they always kept them around enough for them not to be in catering. You get what I'm saying? Like, I understand people think, oh yeah, they should have called up Ciampa. Ciampa should have had multiple intercontinental US title reigns. Ciampa should have been in the main title picture. I understand all that. I like Ciampa too. But sometimes it's just enough for you to just be on TV every day. It's guys that haven't been on TV for weeks. Look at the Street Profits. The Street Profits has been off of TV for I don't know how long. So yeah, Ciampa not getting an opportunity in WWE, Doesn't say anything bad about WWE. And just from the business side of it, too, for all we know, they could have had tough contract negotiations. They could have said he's a little too old to be put in a higher position. I mean, those are things that could have happened. But fortunately for him, he went over to AEW and he won a TNT title. Now, do I like that he's been targeted by Kyle Fletcher? Kyle Fletcher, say what you want about him. Kyle Fletcher is probably one of the current best wrestlers in the world. And he's in the Don Callis family. So that means Ciampa's not going to get a fair fight. Well, see, I actually think that I had Ciampa pegged for joining the Don Callis family. So that's another thing that we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, man. Ciampa went over there. He took care of his thing. He did his damn thing with his longtime friend and longtime rival, Mark Briscoe, and took the belt from him. So we're going to see how it is. Very happy for Ciampa. Glad he was able to go over there and do that. Something else to happen in AEW this week. Andrade beat Swerve Strickland. I had a feeling that it was going to happen the minute they mentioned that Swerve had not lost since he came back. I had a feeling that was going to happen. And I have to be honest, in the spirit of Tommaso Ciampa going to AEW, winning the TNT title, I have to also say that this is probably the biggest win for Andrade in years. I'm talking about first AEW run, WWE run to now. Biggest win he's had in years. Beating someone of Swerve Strickland's caliber. The question is, what are they going to do with it now? He's not going to take that momentum and carry it into him beating MJF. That's not what's going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see how they book him going forward. It's big. It's a big win. He's definitely should be one of the heavy hitters of the Don Callis family. It's good for him that he was able to get such a huge victory, but we'll see how that goes with Andrade. But I honestly don't see nothing too big with that, but we'll see, man. I could be wrong. The last thing I'm going to touch on AEW for this week is the Don Callis family picking a fight with the Death Riders. Now, I understand that the Don Callis family has some aggressive dudes over there, but they don't want that smoke, man. They don't want that smoke. They don't want that smoke with the Death Riders and John Moxley. They don't want that. They don't want it. Because I'm telling you right now, if it comes to a situation, and I think Moxley said this on Collision, if it comes to a situation where they want to talk like street fights, if they want to get really on some gutter shit, Don Callis family not built like that. Maybe Lance Archer is built like that. Josh Alexander, he could get down, but he's a wrestler. Like, if we talking about death match type shit, like using weapons and shit like that, yeah. Don Callis family don't want that smoke. I'm gonna tell you something else because I see the direction they're going. This thing with Takeshita, Okada, Kyle Fletcher, where I think it's clear and obvious to me that they're gonna turn on Takeshita. If they do that, and Takeshita ends up joining the Death Riders in any capacity, even if it's like a one-off just for a match, it's really the Don Callis family is really fucked. Honestly, I think it's time to start planting the seeds for the storyline of where the Don Callis family ends because it's a running joke at this point. Anytime AEW is about to have somebody come join them, they immediately get put into the okay, how long before they're in the Don Callis family? Like, that goes to show you that shit has been going on too long and they got way too many people in that group. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to trigger a beginning of the end situation for the Don Callis family, keep messing with the Death Riders. You're gonna fuck around and find out. All right, y'all, TNA fans, Mass Gang. I see the vision. From the first week when you guys debuted on AMC to now, I am starting to see incremental improvements in your product. It's still a little shaky sometimes, the backstage segments. I don't know if it has to do with the backstage girl or what, but those still need to be cleaned up. But yeah, we finna get into TNA. We finna get into Thursday night TNA Impact. Let's get into it. Now, I think I told y'all before, I'll be the first one to admit I am not very familiar with the lore and the goings on of TNA. That's something I'm starting to try to get into. But I do understand enough to know that the system screwed over JD Fandango. That's why I know him as Damn It Fandango. And Moose screwed them over. And they got Cedric Alexander and they got what's the other dude's name? I don't know. I don't fucking know. But they in the system now. They a part of the system now. You got Eddie Edwards over there, and he has the briefcase. So we don't know if he's gonna get fired or not at the beginning of the night. But we come to find out that's the complete opposite of getting fired. He's actually gonna get a championship opportunity with the TNA title. So good for him. But like I said, I'm not familiar with the lore of TNA just yet, but I do know that Bro's wife came out. She was not happy. If I had to use my wrestling mind and my experience of watching a lot of wrestling, I'm willing to bet that she's playing this role of, I don't like what you did. I'm against you, yada, 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 yada. And I'm willing to bet that the end result is going to be her standing by her husband and she's going to screw somebody over and align herself with her husband and the system. I don't see it being a scenario where she's actually not a part of the situation. So more to come on that. But yeah, screwed those guys over, but what can you do? We'll see. It seems like there's a lot of things going on in TNA that they're trying to reset or recalibrate, and they should. They're a new network now, so the game has to be stepped up. Speaking of game stepped up, and I'm trying to be fair here, because I'm just a small time YouTuber. I ain't no big time YouTuber like BDE, but I will say this: I appreciate a man that goes out and puts his best foot forward and tries to pursue something that that he wants to do. That's why I never shit on CM Punk for sucking in the UFC because shit, at least he had the balls to go out there and try it. It takes balls to go out and try things. So he wrestled Nick Namath and he lost. And he lost. And I will say that he's built like Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff might actually be built better than him, built like a Walmart employee, man. He can't be doing that, man. He gonna have to bulk up and actually look like a wrestler. If I'm watching wrestling, I expect to see wrestlers, bro. But he did well though. He did well in the ring. I'm just saying, Logan Paul set the damn standard, bro. Logan Paul set the standard. If you're gonna be in a wrestling ring, you need to be looking like an athlete, bro. You got to be looking like an athlete. Because I ain't gonna be able to believe. I ain't gonna be able to suspend belief and actually think that you could compete with a Nick Namath in a match if you're not built like that. Even if the match itself is scripted and you scripted to do well, I still want to look. I still want to feel like if the match wasn't scripted, that you would stand a chance, and it just didn't look like that. I'm trying to figure out this situation with Ariana Grace and Santino Marella and Stacks. I'm trying to figure this shit out. Because on one hand, she screwed him over, a month or so ago, screwed her dad over to join Stacks. Now all of a sudden, she's trying to be good and get back in his good. Like, is she trying to manipulate him further? Because at this point, he's already being screwed over by Daria Ray or whatever she's calling herself. Like, he doesn't have the power he had before. So what's the point of trying to screw him over some more? So maybe she's legitimately trying to like be cool with him. So I don't know what the hell they doing with that, bro. I don't know what the end game to that is. I don't know what the end game to that is. Is the end game to that Santino becoming more of an asshole? Is the end game to that going to be Stacks fighting Santino or some shit like that? Is the end game to that? Like, what's the end game to that? And then on the flip side, I'm going to just tell you, this shit annoyed the shit out of me. I get annoyed by small shit sometimes. This shit annoyed the shit out of me. I'm trying to figure out in NXT, it seems like Lexus King, Ariana Grace, maybe Charlie Dempsey, like maybe they're putting together something where they're trying to get all these second, third, fourth, whatever generation stars to start a stable. But if that's the case, then why is Stacks in the stable? Is Stacks in the stable as an extension of Ariana Grace? Because last I checked, and I looked into it, last I checked, he's not a second, third, fourth generation wrestler. So what the fuck is he doing in the group? So I don't know, man. That's just a little small oversight, I guess. But y'all don't know what's going on with that either. One of the last things I'm gonna talk about for TNA is we're gonna bring it back to AJ Styles to close this out. We're gonna bring this back to AJ Styles. That main event scene, I said this in the other show, I know, but that main event scene desperately needs AJ Styles. They need him bad. They need him real bad because I understand Mike Santana is the champion. Eddie Edwards is going to get a title shot. The main event scene in TNA does not have legitimate star power. It doesn't. If anybody needed AJ Styles to come there and finish out the year, it's TNA. They need to get him over there. They need to put that strap on him immediately. And they need to just keep riding along and put it on him and let him ride to the sunset as the TNA champion. And you know what? Just sitting there thinking just now, I just had a thought. The show ended on Thursday with Frankie Kazarian talking to what's her name? Sonya Deville, Daria Ray, whatever. Talking to the GM of TNA. Called her to the office. I'm wondering, because keep in mind, TNA followed Monday Night Raw, where AJ put his career on the line. What if that conversation between Kazarian and Daria Ray or whatever was about, hey, if AJ loses this match, we need to bring him in? Because, I mean, yeah, he could have been talking to her about him wanting a title shot rematch against Santana. That could have totally been the conversation. But that could have also been a conversation of him saying, hey, we need to bring AJ in here. I mean, that is one of the Kazarian's closest rivals, closest guy he's known forever. I can see that happen. All right, y'all. That's it. Another episode of the Crimson Mass Show. We did our damn thing. Go check us out on Crimson Mass Pro Wrestling YouTube channel where we post our shorts. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos here. It'll really help us out with the algorithm. I thank you guys. And until next time, I'm MFGDs, and I'm out.
I'm so tired. What am I going to do?
Quick shout out to our sponsor, W Energy. If you need focus without the sugar crash, this is that clean energy option. No jitters, no weird aftertaste. I use it when I'm ending or recording late. If you want to try it, use my code MFGDEEZ. That's MFGDEEZ at the checkout. Appreciate W for supporting the show. Now let's get back to this wrestling content.